So you've got some shit to say.
Y'all, one of the podcasting rules is always just turn the mic on.
Yeah. You've got some shit
Turn
to
it
say.
on right when you walk in the room. God damn it, where's my cough button? Welcome to 2 Shots and a Royalty Check, brought to you by Venmo, Your Money, Your Move, and Liquid Death, Murder Your Thirst. Let's get back into it. All right.
Go.
How you doing? You look great.
I'm feeling good today.
Hey, look at you wearing a yellow hoodie.
This yellow hoodie. I live in this fucking thing.
Stu yellow hoodie of 2023 and 24.
Well, I'm
glad it made the new year.
I had a blue one that I really loved. It was also a True Religion hoodie. I really like their vibes and their brand. Their stuff. And so not sponsored, but definitely an attire I wear. But one day, while I decided I was going to take a chance and leave the dog out, be like, you know what? He's old enough now. He can hang. I errantly left my hoodie sitting on the back of, I have this blue, bar stool, low back bar stool kind of chair that, my son saw at American Furniture Warehouse and was like, I want that. And I was like, all right, let's get you that. And he's never sat in it once, But I hung my hoodie on the back of that and left. It was the summertime, left and came back home. And Percy, my fabulous rescue dog, had decided that hoodie should die. And it should die a horrible, painful, shreddy death. I don't lose my cool often. I may have been a little frustrated and have to leave the house and, go smoke a joint or something like that, calm the fuck down.
That is brutal.
So, but fortunately I found this yellow one to replace it. But yellow is not a color that forgives a guy that is as clumsy as I am when it comes to cooking. So it gets washed at least twice a week, slathered in tomato sauce.
Yeah, yellow's a bold choice. I like it. It's very bright and sunny.
Thank you. That's how I feel today. It
matches your disposition.
I do have a cheery disposition.
This is why I wear black everything. All black, all day, all the time.
I'm wearing black until they come up with a darker color.
That's right.
Black
on black.
Did we talk about that dude that created this super black paint? But there's one guy, one artist he won't let. I can't remember the name of the company now, but it's a guy came up with there was some super black paint, and this guy bought the formula or whatever and basically made it unobtainable to any real artist. And I don't remember any of these specifics. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do remember something about that. Yeah.
Because I keep getting asked about following that page on Facebook and Instagram. Would you like to follow us? And it's and literally so another artist came along and said, well, fuck you. I'm going to come up with a darker black. And basically, the only caveat is you can buy this paint for $20 for a little thing of it. And the only caveat is you're only allowed to buy it if you're not the one dude who made the other black paint inaccessible to other people. It's the only thing is you, by signing this and clicking this box, you confirm you are not this person and you're not representative of this person and you're not going to buy it from this person. It's fuck yeah.
No shoes, no shirt, no service, no Todd.
No Todd.
Todd can't bother you.
Thanks a lot, Todd. I'm going to see if I can find that because it's fucking hilarious.
How much black could it be?
None more.
Black could it? None.
There's none more black. Speaking of which, have you seen that they're making a sequel to Spinal Tap?
I have.
I'm so very excited about it. It's if you have been a musician for long enough, everything that happens to them in that movie has happened to you. Errant props, girlfriends breaking up the band, getting lost backstage, drummers. I would call it more of a meltdown than an explosion. Well, but I've even the scene where the what's it puppet show first, then Spinal Tap, shit. There was one tour I did where we were playing with a national act, and we came back to play in Colorado, and we were the main support for this act, but they put a sandwich eating contest in between us and the headliner, and so we actually opened for the sandwich eating contest instead of the fucking band we were touring with.
That is fucking awesome.
There was a guy that showed up to that. He was doing a burger eating contest, and he completely obliterated everybody in the burger eating contest. But then, just to show the fuck off. He'd eaten like 9 burgers in front of everybody in like 3 minutes. And, they stop the contest. He reaches over to the dude's plate next to him and grabs a burger and starts fucking eating it. Just to prove his superiority in that moment.
By the way, and that's not his division. The burger people are over there. This is sandwich people over here.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Those people take that shit seriously.
They do.
I did a show in Colorado Springs that had an aviation radio thing come through the speakers.
You've had the wireless pickup. There was a show I did at a venue right on like kind of a major road, but it was right by a radio tower, and through my hand wired amplifier were conflicting Tejano stations and Paul McCartney. It was like it would go back and forth between the two. It's fucking great.
Somebody stood in la puerta. Somebody got him out.
Yeah,
that'd be hilarious if it actually was in Spanish.
Okay, so I found the site. It's like you're looking at the world's blackest paint, and the caveat is he made it because Anish Kapoor won't share his black with anyone else.
Fuck you, Anish.
And so everyone can use the blackest black. Except for this guy, Anish Kapoor. For everyone except Anish Kapoor. There's a whole story about around that. Created by British artist Stuart Semple in response to the claims by Vanta black scientists that artists were too poor and time-consuming, this high-quality, ultra-pigmented black 3.0 gives an almost identical Vanta-esque finish without the toxicity and can be applied using a brush and no fiddly spray booths or heating chambers. This is available to all artists except Anish Kapoor. That is some petty shit. This.
After 7 years in the making, it's here. Black 4.0 is without a doubt the blackest black paint in the known universe.
Yeah, when you get onto the site, it gives you this. By clicking this box, you agree that you are not Anish Kapoor or any of his representatives. I just love the pettiness of this whole thing.
Fuck you, Anish Kapoor. Seriously.
Oh gosh. Anyway, sorry.
I wonder if people send him, like a black email. You can't just everything's blacked out.
I hope so because we
should find him. I'm gonna find him.
But again, it's like that whole idea that like art is for everyone, and but this idea like they were too time consuming and fickle or whatever that he just like made it so it's impossible. Like,
I love it.
I thought you might. So you're of a mood today, shall we say? You've been.
Oh God, I just got out of a. All right, well, let's just get into it.
Yeah, jump in.
I just got out of a Spaces, which was State of Music NFTs.
Oh, so we're getting into music business this early in the podcast. I don't know if that's okay.
Oh my God, it's no, because there is no music business there.
Okay.
No, because there isn't. Here's the thing. I just got out of the Spaces, and I came to a conclusion. I think we were wrong.
Oh, say more.
We should not have legalized weed. Every single fucking one of these speakers in this space is like, man, people just need to be on their grind, and this is about community. And those who say NFTs are dead, they don't know what they're talking about because we're just out here slanging, things are good. And then the other person jumps in. The problem is that there needs to be more education about Web.3 and Web3 and DAO and NFTs. And I think we need to call it more digital collectibles. And there needs to be, and just like every single person in there is too fucking high for their own good. I'm like, how am I the only sober person in this thing?
And you weren't sober.
Even the former A&R guy from Universal that's in there, and we've run into each other. I don't know him, but like I know of him. He knows of me. He's like, man, the problem is none of y'all have a plan. You need to have PR. You need to be putting out 10 versions of every single. No one knows what's a fucking hit until you put out the hit. And all you people, all you're doing is just dropping something every day. You need to put up that quality, and you got to have a team, and you got to okay, yes, of course that's true. But money. Like money is an issue. Like, you got to have a team and support every release. And like, these are just people chasing the same goddamn problems that we've all been talking about for decades in the independent community.
Yeah.
About building communities, How do you make a living in music? And, one of the biggest issues with it is like, this is the argument I got into on there.
I love that you're starting fights on the internet again.
Oh, yes. I'm like, all right, somebody on here tell me what problem you're trying to solve.
Yeah.
What is it? Like, you create with Web3 and decentralization and music NFTs, whatever the fuck you want to call it. What problem are you trying to solve? Not spending dollars? Spending ETH? Okay. That's one thing, but you got to put dollars in to get ETH. Doesn't come out of nowhere, right? Okay, so you didn't solve that. Are you trying to solve how do I get digital music into someone else's hands? Well, you didn't solve that either. I got to go to Sound XYZ or Audacity. Oh, by the way, Audacity just folded.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
You got to go to all these other platforms. So did you solve the platform problem? Like, can I have to go to a website to get your damn NFT and get your music? No, you didn't solve a problem there. Did you solve a problem with like, oh, music needs to have a little bit more like scarcity? No. There's like millions more songs, and they're all shitty, by the way. A bunch of electronic songs, not a whole lot of lyrics. Some rap, which is all right, but it's not great. It's like, what problem are you trying to solve? And they're like, oh, well, we're trying to build a community. I'm like, by trying to get people to move their dollars into some imaginary crypto so that they can spend $15 on your single song.
Yeah.
That you probably should be giving them anyway for free for their email, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, and so half the people in there are like, people are saying NFTs are dead. No, I don't think that. The other half of the people are like, then, man, this is dead. We need to rejigger this whole thing, right? We need to call it collectibles. I'm like, okay, so people need to collect music. Ooh, wow, you brought us all the way back to 1955, you stupid fucks.
1955?
People have singles and then we have records and cassette tapes, and that's what music has been forever, is collectibles. You're not solving anything by a digital collectible. Oh, did you reinvent iTunes? Ooh, good for you. Anyway, and now they're talking about, oh, we got to educate people outside the space. I'm like, this is the problem. You're all selling your shit to each other. You're selling your shit to the other guy. All of you got a big bag of ETH with government money in 2020. And then, the thing shot up because of the crypto craze, and you're just selling it back and forth. But nobody's making any money. And if you aren't making any money, somebody is.
Yeah.
And who do you think that is? It's the platforms. And they're all talking about, well, I still got to put my music on SoundCloud. I still got to put it on Spotify. So how do I go about like creating a community over here in NFTs and digital stuff? I'm like, yeah, you don't. Your fans aren't there. They don't care. And so here's what I really got. Oh, you're going to love this.
I already love it. I love a good rant.
I call this the cult of optimism. Rob, this guy that I argue with on the internet sometimes about this, he also got into this with me. But it was basically, I'm about being new and moving things forward to solve issues and solutions. I will always be the cheerleader of people who are trying to take big swings and innovate, right? That's what these guys are saying. And that I'm the dinosaur that I'm constantly saying, okay, but you're not innovating. You're basically trying to rip people off. It's a Ponzi scheme. And so, like, by you standing up and going, oh, don't speak poorly of this or we'll never get forward with this new solution. Now you've got a bunch of people that put $300 into, you have people like our friend Scott who put a bunch of money into NFTs thinking they're going to make money and also is not making money from it. Lost all their money. And they're not going to talk about how they lost all their money in it because it was kind of fun and I'm trying to innovate and the new shit and all that. And here's what's the most hilarious thing about this. I'm on the strongest internet connection you can buy.
Yeah.
Okay. Full on 1,000 megabit Comcast. Of course, that is not what I get, but that's what
that's what you're paying for,
right?
Yeah.
Brand new Mac system, like full on everything, really good. It's not me. It's not my gear. And we're on Twitter, whatever dude wants to call it X, okay? Hilariously, the audio's cutting out constantly on everyone in this spaces. Can you hear me? Yo, can you hear me? Can anybody hear me? I can't hear you. I can't reach your all that shit going on. People out taking a walk, and so it's their AirPods. You can't fucking hear it when the wind's coming in. I'm like, this right here, this is Web3. This is what you want me to believe in. You guys can't even make the web work. The World Wide Web. Web 2.0.
World
Speakers
Wide
cutting out
Web.
all over the place. So yeah, I'm a hater. And I will continue to be a hater because I think you're all trying to fool somebody. You're not going to fool me. Well, and so here's where the conversation kind of ended for me. I was like, well, what's your idea then? I was like, offer the fucking song on your website. That's it. Create your own website. Well, that's not Web 3.0. It can eventually make your website VR. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Offer it on your website. Don't tell me you're decentralizing everything and you're using Spotify or SoundXYZ or SoundCloud or it doesn't even matter what it is, Twitch or whatever.
Yeah.
Buy your own server.
Yeah.
Buy a computer at home. Offer it on your own website. House it on your own server space or the cloud, whatever. But like, if you really want to create a community away from all of this and decentralize, how come you keep walking to centralized locations and going, would you please sell my song? Because what happens is you're just like all of us on Spotify. You have to promote the platform to get someone to listen to your music.
Yeah.
You know, and therein lies the problem, where it all started with iTunes. Here's the thing. Back in the day when you were asking someone to go buy your album in a record store,
Yeah.
you may do an in-store at Tower Records or whatever, right? But you didn't say only buy my record at Tower Records. Go buy it where you buy records.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Go buy it where you buy that. Or better yet, come to the show. We'll sign a CD for you tonight.
Yeah.
Out of the trunk of my car. Where the hell are the hustlers now? Sell that song out of the trunk of your car, i.e. your website.
Yeah.
And everyone keeps, these platforms and all that. You can get some kid on Fiverr to build you out a web player. It's free.
Yeah.
Open source shit. And so I'm like, if you really want to decentralize, if you really want to be an innovator, well, build your own goddamn streamer of your own music. And everybody was like, oh, well, now I got to learn that. And I'm like, oh, but you don't have to learn crypto?
Yeah.
Now I don't have to learn how to sign in with my MetaMask wallet to SoundXYZ so I can get some shitty file with a JPEG on it? Like, no. Fuck it. God damn it, you people are killing me. Seriously. Everybody's trying to reinvent the wheel while they're driving around on 4 of them. I'm just saying. Like anyway, music NFTs are dead. And the thing is, it's not dead to the people doing it.
Yeah.
And that's the point I was bringing up, is that, like, I get that you guys want it. You guys want this to be a community. Fans don't care. Again, this is the Taylor Swift sort of litmus test. If fans cared, Taylor Swift would have done it, and she would have executed it perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah.
If NFTs were a damn thing at all. By the way, did you see that? She took 1.7% of all streams last year. All music sales.
That's insane. That's a big number.
In the world. The world. Like 1.7.
Wow.
That is like a small country's economy.
Yeah. That's
not even a small country.
Yeah.
That's not like Liechtenstein or something.
Yeah. Baron
That's
von Liechtenstein.
That's a pretty big economy. But anyway, that's kind of the point that I was making, is that, like, for all of this talk about innovation and technology and solution providing, I don't see any innovation. And I don't understand why, my negativity towards it is, it's not criticism, it is critique. I want someone to blow this all up. I want someone to figure it out.
Yeah.
I think I have my way, but I think, and we'll talk about that another time.
You mean our way, right? Sorry, call back.
Yeah, I've got a way to do it, but like my way to do it comes with like not making profit. So it becomes a little bit harder, right? Because why would anybody do that? Well, because music needs to be a public good. Anyway, we'll talk about that another time.
Wow, yeah, that's gonna become that's a rant awaiting to happen.
But anyway, the cult of optimism is what is really killing these people. Is because they cannot. I mean, I liken it a lot to Trumpism. They cannot say they were wrong. They can't say, you know what, we gave this a shot, it didn't work, fans don't want it. Not that it's not a good idea, not that it couldn't have worked. It did not work. Fans aren't flowing in to buy them, and it's not valuable to your fan base. And so that's it.
Yeah.
Done. We're done here.
We had a conversation, was it last week or the week before, where we talked about finding out where your fans are and what they want.
Yeah.
And it sounds like that a lot of this kind of gang of people aren't actually asking those questions. They're doing what they think their fans want because it's what they kind of want, versus actually going, and I understand.
They're driving them to these platforms, but most of the people on there aren't fans who don't create NFTs.
Yeah. Okay.
So they think their fans are the people on that platform, but they're actually other NFT creators, and they're they're trading $15 in ETH back and forth.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, nothing's coming from the outside.
So
not nothing. There's some.
Yeah. I also
Steve
understand
Aoki did some shit.
But Steve Aoki's a fucking anomaly. He's like, that man is incredibly smart, and but his entire business isn't in that basket. It's part of it, but it's not the whole thing. I find him interesting. He's a fascinating guy. Anyway, there's a piece of this where it's like you have to have the information to make the informed decisions. And I don't feel like that this, what you call it, the cult of optimism,
yes,
necessarily has all the information. They have the information from each other.
Yeah, and they want to educate the public about it. But go ahead and start talking to the public about NFTs or Web3. And that's what they're all saying is that, the public's been burned out on it by all of you people, you naysayers, you haters, you dinosaurs. You wouldn't let it grow big enough to where, to where the average teenager would be into this.
I have an average teenager.
I don't think my voice is that strong. Thank you.
I have an average teenager that lives in my house. He has zero fucks about any of this.
Yeah.
I have average teenagers around my house all the fucking time because, I've got his kids got friends, and and not once have I heard about, they play Roblox and they play Minecraft and they play Terraria and they're all in, these, expansive digital spaces, but they're not talking about, they're not fucking playing Fortnite and saying, I get this unique special skin with all, it's not, in this digital, I sound like a fucking idiot right now, but I know that that's not what they're talking about.
No.
Because I can hear them swearing from my living room.
And look, and that sort of thing, the economy in gaming with loot boxes and skins and things like that is there, but it's not even something that is braggable. It's just something you do.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, I have that, and you're someone you play online with be like, oh, that's a cool hat. That's it. But it's not like you're going to become an evangelist for it. You wouldn't convince your other friends. I always, look, whenever a platform comes out, I have been writing about blockchain since 2004, 5, 6, something like that. Even when people are trying to create a whole new .mp3. Okay, it was a .bc. I wrote that story. I broke that company. Here's the thing, is that I always pass it off as this. Most of these things don't pass the genre test. So anytime you see a new technology and music come out, does it pass the genre test? Can the electronica artist do it? DJs, electronic EDM, that kind of stuff. And the singer-songwriter acoustic person do it.
Yeah.
Because that is a full music economy.
Yeah.
Everything in between there is bands and then genres in bands and artists and duos and all the things that's in between that.
Yeah.
But if you can't have both sides of that, the very loud, boisterous, rich Miami kind of scene to the very sort of country backwoods singer-songwriter thing that's just somebody in a guitar. If it doesn't work for both, it's not going to work. And people argued with me about that, but I'm like, you need all of those people in between. You can't just have EDM and rap pushing this and thinking it's going to take off.
Do you think
a little bit.
Do you think that the streaming culture we have now with the platforms we have is passing that genre test?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things driving Spotify is country.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, country is huge on Spotify. And with that comes a lot of ballads.
Oh, yeah.
And so, yeah, absolutely I do. I mean, I don't think there's as many singer-songwriter kind of acts out there, pushing it. And in fact, I think you and I know many people in that genre that are very much opposed to streaming.
Yeah.
So they're not pushing people to Spotify, or their fan base is older. They're more into vinyl, more into like, well, I still sell CDs, man. It's not like it was back in my day. It's those kind of people.
Yeah, but again, they've done the research to find that out.
Yeah. Well, I mean...
Kind of.
We'll see. That changes. Like people get a little bit older, and their granddaughter or whatever comes over at Christmas, and they're like, "Well, check this out on Spotify." And then they hear Bing Crosby singing a Christmas song, and pretty soon they're part of the family plan, and they're like, "Oh wow, holy shit! Like I can listen to the Who and all my music on here." Like it does happen.
Yeah.
Like we're starting to see a lot more Gen X and Boomers on Spotify percentage wise.
Yeah, but it's still like they're not gravitating towards new music.
No,
they're gravitating towards catalog stuff, and much like Facebook,
and that's where it falls, right? Because then they don't understand how to create a playlist.
Yeah.
They'll just like try to search a song, and then your experience is only as good as your memory.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, then you're like, you don't really want to go and search every song you want to listen to. And so they don't really understand how daily mix works, or how,
but they don't care to.
No.
They don't want to. And I kind of equate some of this stuff to like, when Facebook first graced us with its presence, like it was like you had to be part of some type of educational institute to be on there.
Yeah, totally.
And now it's what's the line from is it Ted Lasso, grandmas and racists? And so it's and so like the audience has changed. Do you think that like Spotify is going to go through something similar where there's going to be an influx of older people utilizing the platform, and that will in turn push the younger generation onto the next thing?
Well, I think that the latter is already happening.
Yeah.
The Gen Z is moving away from Spotify, specifically from Spotify. But I think that the problem here is that Spotify is not adapting to an older fan base. So it's like, I've talked about this before with the apps that I've been working on forever.
Yeah.
But like Spotify is developed by 20-year-olds. 20-year-olds have pretty good eyesight.
Yeah.
And so you're going to want to just jam as much things on the screen as you can.
Yeah.
On a little phone. And it's fine when you're 23, when you're 22, you're like, oh my God, this looks gorgeous. Look, I can see 7 album covers. Okay, once you get in your 40s, hi millennials, then you will see, I'm okay with just 3. Can you make it a little bigger? I can't see the 1975 too well there.
Yeah.
You need to like, you know what I mean? Like this, My Chemical Romance, I mean, I think I know what that album is, but 3 Cheers for Revenge. But like you've got to, and then if you go a little bit higher and you're up in Gen X and then Boomers are using it on pads.
Yeah.
And so you need to have just like bigger font, and everybody uses the black background. Older people don't like backgrounds. I mean, there are a lot of things that usability wise, Spotify sucks at for different generations. You can't customize Spotify. And that really blows. That sucks. There should be a way to customize it.
There's some things like even in audio production, like I can tell when an app was designed by somebody that's, significantly younger than me, because there is no way to enlarge anything on the plugin,
Holy fuck. DAWs are horrible with how much shit there is.
Yeah,
I mean, you can turn it on and off and on, if you get to know it well enough.
Yeah.
But like, if you just leave everything on, you're like,
you're
like, look at all these little things.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty fortunate for my age of almost 90
72.
years old.
Yep.
Shit, you gave me a couple of decades. I appreciate you.
Well, you're just a young spring chicken, yeah.
I'm like, spring chicken. That chicken is dead. No, it's like my eyesight's pretty fucking good. But there are still times when I'm like, does that say threshold? Like it's like, and that's the one thing that like drives me crazy about all of this stuff is there's no way for me to, make it fit the things that I need. And that's I understand that there's you have to please yourself because you can't please everybody. So many jokes passed through my head right there at that moment in time, and I don't know if you saw them all roll through, and all of them were filthy. But like, you can't please everybody, so you have to make it like the way that you, as a developer, would like to make it. But if on my device, on my, like my editing bay at home, or my phone, or my iPad, which I only use for song lyrics at gigs, by the way.
Totally, it's just a teleprompter.
It's a teleprompter. Like I do all of that. I do all that stuff.
And a phone TV or a airplane TV.
Yeah, I don't even use it for that. I still watch that shit on my phone. And my phone, I'm one of those weird guys. I don't like the biggest phone. I want the phone that is easy for me to hold in my hand.
I agree.
I agree. But again, I'm trying to customize the mobile device experience to myself, or even the home computer setup to my. That's the whole point. Is you get to customize it to your whole thing, and the fact that I can't make the font bigger on Spotify, or if I had eyesight problems, that's an issue, especially if you're looking to try and, especially for these people that are trying to push into what's the next thing. Well, the next thing I need to be able to make it mine.
Yeah.
That's it.
Again, when you go to Spotify, you are not listening to your music. You're listening to their music collection.
Yeah.
And that's something that screams at you all the time, from the font choices to the background to the colors,
to
the way it's designed, and every one of them is basically the same.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, Apple has more of a white background. You can go night mode on it if you want, but that's basically what the thing is. Here's the thing, though. I've developed a bunch of apps, and it's not true that you develop the app for yourself. You usually go through a UX and a UI partitioning, where you basically do some usability like exercises. You use a bunch of different core people to do this with, right? And this is how you know that the smartest people, the people you think are the smartest, aren't. Okay? I'm going to give you an example here. I'm going to give you a really good example for everyone to understand this.
Yeah.
Every single streaming service you use, and let's just go video streaming, Netflix, The Cock, HBO/The Max, ESPN, whatever, Hulu, go through all of them.
Yeah.
Okay? And you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about when I say it here. Every single one of them has a different way to exit.
Oh, yeah.
Every single one of them. Netflix, you got to go all the way down to the bottom and over to the right. When you go to Hulu and you do exit, it goes, yeah, you sure? And then you got to press yes. If you're trying to exit out of Apple, it goes okay or cancel. If you want to exit out of Netflix, or if you want to exit out of Peacock, it's, are you sure you don't want to watch? You got to go to the bottom left on Paramount, all the way on the bottom on the exit screen on the bottom left. Every one of them is different. And every one of them has put a bunch of money into a study on the best way to keep you on the app, right? That every single one of them wants you to not exit. And every single one of them has come to a wrong or different conclusion. Yeah. Every single one of them is different. Go do it today. Every single time you get out of an app on streaming, you're going to realize they're all different. And they all have different language too, in the copy and what the button says, whether it says, yes, I'm sure, exit, yes, no thanks, keep watching. All of them are different. Every single one of them are. And it's going to blow your mind that all of these massive companies, these billion-dollar companies, you would think that one of them has found the exact best way to do this process. Whether it's the best way to make you feel like a good user, whether it's the best way to keep you on the app, whatever that reason is, it should be universal. Somebody should have figured this out. What's the best way for everyone to exit out of the app? But I am telling you, Paramount, Peacock, Netflix, Hulu, ESPN Plus, every single one of them is different. And that just shows you that none of them know what the fuck they're talking about.
Okay, so can we go back to just make the thing you want to make and let everybody else figure it out?
Sure.
Because as it turns out, it doesn't. That nobody seems to know the answer to what people want. People
have been paid to say that this is the way, sir.
Yeah, but the thing is, I remember thinking of this. When we were talking about, and I don't know why I didn't say anything about this, but the language you use to ask these questions really does matter. Like, if you say to somebody, "How important is is it important to you for it to be easy to exit this app?"
Right.
And most people will say yes. But if you ask them how important it is to them, that's a different question. And so it's like, like asking.
And then what that answer is it 1 through 5? Is it 1 through 10?
Yeah. Is it, do you care? Yeah, exactly. How much do you care?
Very, somewhat, not at all.
Yeah. And so again, when we were talking about, getting to know your fans, the question you need to ask them, you also need to know how much they give a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you like us to do a matinee show? Yes. How important is this to you? Not very. Cool. Then, it's just sure, that sounds good.
How much would you pay for a matinee show? I don't know.
Yeah.
Would you pay $100, $5, $20?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you do it that way, you're like, well, yeah, $20, I guess.
Yeah.
Not 100. $5 seems a little cheap. But now if you go, would you pay 20, 25, or 30? Mm-hmm. And then the next question is, if they answered 30, would you pay 50 for a VIP table with a free beer? But
there's ways to get really granular with that information so that you can actually get some real data. And it just seems like there's this, this focus group bullshit is so surface, because just at your point is nobody really seems to know. Because it would require an inordinate amount of time and data combing to fucking get that answer. And nobody has the time or resources to make that happen right now.
Yeah. And then there's the language of these exit screens that say, yes, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Which is to make you feel guilty.
Yeah.
Exit. Are you sure? You sure you want to stop watching?
Yes, I've got other shit. Yes, I've got other shit to do. No, go fuck yourself. Can we put that in there? Imagine being able to customize your own exit screen language.
Ah, I would love that. Get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here.
Fuck out of here with that shit.
That's fascinating. So I love this kind of all of this data gathering stuff, and it does make me feel better as a lowly entrepreneur, sole proprietor kind of person, to know that even people with billions of dollars have no fucking clue what they're doing.
They don't.
Just make the thing that makes you happy. That's all I hear out of that. I get great peace out of that.
I used to deal with them all the time with apps. I dealt with it in my early career. I did qualitative and quantitative marketing research. I have a marketing background.
Oh.
And part of that, which I was very lucky to do, I worked on huge things. I helped launch the Cadillac Escalade. That's how long ago it was. Things like that. But we'd also do Arbitron ratings for radio. So
Arbitron.
You would have market research based on a single that was being put out and whether or not it should be played on the radio. And let me tell you the way that went is they would play you the song beforehand and say, do you know this song? And let's say it was Sheryl Crow.
Yeah.
Are you aware of this song?
Yeah.
And then, are you a fan of this song? Is this a song you've heard multiple times? Mm-hmm. And then you would put another song that they knew. Are you aware of this song? Are you a fan of this song? Do you not like this song? And then they would put your song into it.
Mm-hmm.
Are you aware of this song? And if you ask it that way, and we would do a room of 100 people, of radio listeners and stuff, right? You ask it that way, and we'd get 40% of people would be like, oh yeah, I'm aware of that song. No, you aren't.
No,
it's
you're
never
not.
been released. You've never heard it.
You've never heard this.
We get 20% that said, that's my favorite song.
Yeah.
Now, if you got that, you could go back to, the intercom or whatever the radio station was and be like, yeah, this one's going to do well because they really think they know this song already.
Yeah.
But here's the problem, right? That shouldn't be the level of acceptance for putting a new song on the radio is a song that you think you've heard already.
Yeah.
Like that's not, yes, it will work for advertising for your needs for radio, but like it shouldn't be the reason why a song makes the radio, you know, but like you could color it a certain way. I could change it as much as I wanted. I could do I was a proctor. Love that word. And you could, and by proctor, boy, do you
sounds vaguely dirty.
Oh, you do. Oh, are you going to be procted today? But like you could paint it a certain way to where if there was a song I liked or a product that I liked that I thought the group was all into, I could paint it a certain way to be like, you know what? Here's the thing. Only 30% of the people did not agree that this song sounded familiar. So you can twist it however you want. You could parse the fuck out of that statement.
Yeah.
Only 30%. Why is that only? 30% is fairly significant. That's a third of the whole group. And then if you break down demographics, I didn't need to tell you, every single woman hated that song. Yeah. But over the group, it was only 30%. And then I could say only 30% did not find this song familiar. Well, that doesn't mean they liked it or not liked it. They just didn't find it familiar. What the fuck does that mean? Yeah. Like you could really paint it a lot of ways. It's the same thing with apps. You would go and do like usability tests and have some kid use it and they just press every damn button they can and get through all of the walkthrough. And you have some old person use it and they're like, I don't know, like, tell me what I need to do. Yeah. And then you would have the tell me what I need to do screen for the kids. And they'd be like, just exit. Yeah. And which is telling the developer, do not have the tell me what to do screen. Yeah. So, you can paint it however you want.
On Logic Pro, where we're recording right now, the audio for this, there is a question mark button that allows you to click that, and it tells you what every single thing does on the program.
LCD, tracks area,
but if the one thing that it doesn't do is define those terms for you. You know, so if I click the question mark and I turn it on, it has a little screen with the quick help, and it tells you kind of what it is. You know. But they have
little clippies.
They have little clippies. Yeah. Like, would you, it looks like you're trying to draft a resume. Would you like some help?
It looks like you're trying to create a new track. Would you like to create it from a template?
Clippy gets a lot of hate. And for those of you that are under the age of 30 that have no idea what we're talking about,
go Google it.
Go Google Clippy and then clear your browser history. Thank you for all of that. All of that information is so valuable. Like that, just like that.
People should pay for this podcast. God damn it.
Yeah, I mean, can we give them an ad-free experience for a monthly fee?
We absolutely can. Patreon.com/2ShotsMusicPod. Go there. Give us $5, $10 if you're a major supporter. Would you like to be an executive producer of this podcast? You can. It's $100 a month. We'll mention you on every one of these. So if you've got a company or your band, whatever you'd like.
Now I'm genuinely curious. Is there actually a 2 Shots Patreon?
I didn't do it. Like, I could sell the shit out of whatever you want me to.
Yeah. Here, take these onions. I want you to sell them to our listeners.
That and we'll give you 10% of all the revenue. There you go.
I'm selling 15%. Digital onions. Digital onions. Can you tell me how to sell those digital onions?
I can. Here's how you need to do it. To sell the whole onion is 20. Would you like half of the onion? That's 10. Here's the thing. What you really want to do is sell just each little skin of the onion. And each one is more valuable. As you get to the bottom of the onion, to the inside of the onion, it's sweeter. And so that costs a little bit more. So inside of the onion is going to be $25 if you want that little pearl in the bottom of the onion, which is really the only part of the onion you want. Here's the thing. I will sell you an onion with no skin on it. So you don't have to even take the skin off. In fact, if you would like an onion that's already chopped up, we have 5 different varieties of those. Would you like it julienned? Would you like it in slices? I can sell you a pickled onion if you would like. Would you like it chopped up? Small chops? We can do that as well.
It was the term julienne that sent me sideways.
Yellow, Vidalia, red, whichever onion you would like. We can source those onions for you. Just pay us a $5 fee as an onion finder fee.
onion finder fee.
Join our Onion of the Month Club for $20, and we will ship a surprise onion to you and how to prepare it every month.
Oh my God, band name Surprise Onion.
Surprise onion. Go copyright that, you guys.
Copyright right now.
Can't copyright it.
Shit.
That's a trademark.
Trademark.
Oh God, Mark would hate me for that.
Oh yeah.
Mark's one of my lawyer friends that loves to point out trademark versus copyright.
Nice.
Which I do all the time too. I'm like, you can't copyright that. Trademark.
So stems versus never mind.
Yeah, totally.
So that kind of shit. So we did. How's Kelsey doing? Is she just got buried her head in the console at this point in time? She's so angry. Like, you
Kelsey's
guys have done
don't
nothing.
You fucking sell onions?
Like, did you guys do anything off the rundown this week? No, we have not.
Studio move. Michael's going to Casa Bonita tonight.
You're going to Casa Bonita?
Do you want to? Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you guys, I'm going to Casa Bonita. You guys.
Fantastic.
Yes. If you don't know what Casa Bonita is, get the fuck out of here. You got to know what Casa Bonita is. You got to watch South Park. Anyway, it's a Denver institution. It's been reopened. Trey and Matt own it, and I'm on. I got in, so
nice.
We're in. So
fantastic.
Doing the Casa Bonita thing with some mutual friends.
Fantastic.
And I will report back on it.
Very nice.
Black Bear's Cave or Black Bart's. Black Bart. And whether or not the sopapillas still rock. I've seen some shit about it that's like it's the same food. But like honestly, we had Mexican food the other night. Yeah. And it was like, well, I want to really get a good Mexican meal in because I'm not sure when I'll get Mexican food again. And someone was like, well, hey, we're going to Casa Bonita on Thursday. And I'm like, I don't know when the next time I'm going to have a Mexican meal is.
Yeah. I would eat Mexican food all the time, and I had good Mexican the other night too, but I went to Casa Bonita last July for someone's birthday party, and it was really fun. And I have another friend who just got his note saying you're approved. Your credit has been approved to go to Casa Bonita.
Are you in his group?
I'm going to go. Yes, I'm in his cohorts, if you will.
I'm in someone else's group as well.
Yeah, so
which I'm pretty pissed off about because I've supported the shit out of Casa Bonita, and I'm OG.
Yeah,
like I grew up here, and so like I'm in a way I'm the Cartman. Like my baseball, my YMCA baseball team had the trophy presentation at Casa Bonita. Like that's what you did. There were birthdays. There were, it was fairly cheap. It's buffet stuff. It's West Colfax. It's no big whoop. And then it becomes something where everyone that comes into town, like as I got older, you're like, oh my God, I want to go to Casa Bonita. I'm like, I don't know if you.
I don't know.
Really
I don't think that you do. Me and my second ex-wife used to take. I have two of those. Drink. I used to go there. Would take the kids, and they would eat there. But we would not. We would drink there.
They do have drinks.
They do have drinks. And they have some pretty good tequila now in some of the little tequila cabanas, if you will. But it's a really fun experience still. I enjoyed it. It was quite an adventure. And it's just fun. I mean, don't stay too long and don't look at anything too long. But, it's a good time.
Yeah, I'm excited. Plus, we're going with good friends.
Yeah, that makes it all the better.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And I'll report back on it. I will have a full review of Casa Bonita.
Hold on, let me get my notes out. No stars!
I'm trying to see if I can take one of those, Old West timey pictures. It's hilarious, you guys. So this is like a Mexican restaurant ostensibly. Okay?
Yes, it is.
But
ostensibly.
when you go down into the pirate, there's cliff divers, and there's a cave thing. And then out of nowhere, there was a place for many years where you could just go take an old-timey Western picture.
Oh, it's still there.
So the chick you're with gets to put on a garter, and you put on like a duster, and hold a gun, and put on a hat, and it's in sepia. It's still there?
Oh, yeah. And there's a quote-unquote magic show, and there's a theater down there. It's a fun adventure. I enjoyed myself.
I am kind of excited to go and not stand in line for 2 hours.
Oh yeah, that's kind of gross.
One of the last times we went, we were with the band and One of the guitarists, his wife had never been. And and it was like her 40th birthday or something. Like we were full grown adults. And she was like, I want to go to Casa Bonita. So it was like a band outing.
Oh.
And I was like, are you guys sure? Because it was like Saturday, 11 o'clock, something like that. And I'm like, okay. Are you sure? Well, no, don't speak bad about it. I want to go. Don't ruin it. I was like, okay. And so there we were, all hungover from the show the night before. The full crew, our roadies, the bands, wives, everybody. It's a good 20 of us rolling in there at 11 o'clock. Plenty of people with a flask in their pocket.
Yeah.
or worse.
Yeah.
And we're standing there for 2 hours in the hot, heated line to get buffet food. Or to just get in, you know.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my God, this sucks so much. I'm like, I don't want to ruin it for you.
Yeah.
So now you get a reservation. So
yeah. And it's you meet up with your whole party out, you know, and they escort you in to your table, your booth, your room. And I don't know if you know this, but a friend of ours who used to run, he's probably my favorite sound person in town, is I believe the production director over there, does all the sound and audio, Mr. Steele.
Chris, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what to do, but I ran into him.
I'll be that douchebag tonight and go walk
We ran
up to
into him at a party fairly well for one of the agents around Denver before he moved out to the East Coast. And Chris was there, and he was talking about those two guys left the same venue at the same time. And so now he's doing that. I have to touch base with him. I love that guy. He's one of the finest sound engineers you will ever meet in your entire life. He's incredible.
He did a lot of my shows. Totally.
Yeah, me too.
By the way, James is at Soil Tub now.
Martinez.
Yeah. Another
great sound guy. Guy I toured with. Guy that is apparently can't sleep when the bus isn't moving. So the things I have learned about that man by being on tour. I do too. Grumpiest. He is the grumpiest sound man in the world, unless you know him, and then he's a kitten on your lap.
We hugged for a very long time.
Oh, I love it. It
was nice. It was sweet.
Good. I'm glad.
So, should we get to this question, or should we just move on? Have we done music business stuff?
I think that all the marketing stuff that we did earlier about like that kind of stuff. Do you think that counts, or do you want to talk about? Do you want to ask? Let's ask the question. We have time to answer the question, right?
It's a quick answer. No.
Yeah, it really is. The answer is no. Don't do it.
All right, this question comes from Miss O'Keefe from Florida. Miss O'Keefe, I don't know if that's the name of the band or if it's her name, but Miss O'Keefe, I say her because Miss.
Well, let's do some research here.
What's your opinion on going for a record deal? Should bands and artists still try for one? You want to take this? You want me to?
I can take it. I think if that's what you want to do, you should go for it. But there's a certain level you have to get to on your own before you can do that.
That's the Stu answer.
There you go.
I think if you'd like to, you should. You should believe in
Well, I understand why you'd
rainbows.
want to, because all of the things there's a variety of jobs that you have to do as an independent artist that a label will take over for you. Now they will take 80% of the money too at that point. But the thing is if you have your own team,
that's a good deal.
Yeah, I agree. But it's if you have a team of your own and you're independent, you're your own entrepreneurial setup, you're still going to be paying that team anyway. So it's just a question of, do you want the responsibility of managing that team, or do you want to hand it to somebody else?
I have a multi-part answer to this. So
okay,
here's my answer, and this comes from someone who has dealt with some people who have been signed recently to a major.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my answer. If you're under 22, go ahead.
Yeah.
If you're under 22, maybe something you want to look into, get a good lawyer. You should have a good lawyer no matter what if you're dealing with
Yeah.
And that's not them trying to screw you over. It's just business. It's just lawyerly lawyer stuff. That's all that is.
Lawyer stuff.
And by the way, don't have a lawyer take a percentage. Always pay a lawyer hourly when you're dealing with a record deal. Mm-hmm. Even if it's $10,000, it's a lot better than losing $100. So that's one. But if you're under 22, it might make sense for you to sign like sort of a 1-in-1 deal, which is a 1 album plus a 1 option deal. where you don't have the means to go out and make your own fan base, but you have the talent and someone's going to put a bunch of money behind you, you will have time to recover from a bad deal if you're under 22. Okay. So if you're 17 and someone sees you and like it may mean that they do want to, exploit you for money. That's what a record deal is. It is exploiting you, not your music, you for money. Your music is the means by which they exploit you. Okay? So just take that for what it's worth. That is what it is. Okay. Above 22, my answer has always been this. If you are offered a record deal, you don't need one. If you're in a band or you're an artist or whatever and someone comes in and they're splashing some money around and offering you a record deal, you've got the numbers. You probably don't need one. When my band was close to getting one, we kind of were right on that edge of like, we're making pretty good money. And so like if we would have gone to a different level on the next album and had more promotion money, we probably didn't need one. Kid Rock didn't need one when he got a record deal. He had $200,000 in a trash bag. Like, you don't need one if someone's offering you one. Probably. So like
$200,000 in a trash bag.
But so that's the other thing. And so why do you want a record deal is always my answer back to you. And to Stu's point about there's a lot of things that a record company can do that you can't, that they'll take on some of that. That is true, but it's only in terms of the levels of things you can do.
Yes.
Reaching global heights, getting a national release, being able to get onto a bigger tour or something like that. Those are working with different producers, higher mixers, better studios.
I'm a higher mixer.
Shit. Yeah, I'm way
high.
Hey, man, I'm a mixer. But so, like, if you want to deal with that kind of shit, absolutely, that's a good pathway for you. However, if you think that you can just do music because you got a record deal, nothing changes.
Yep.
There's a guy, Ricky Montgomery, go and search him on TikTok. He just did a great, like, fucking really long TikTok about this. And the whole point is that even if you get a record deal right now, you still got to do the TikToks. You still got to do the Instagram. You still got to do the interviews. You still have to be a part of the creative process. And you have to write the songs. And you have to do the tours. You still have to go to the stupid brand meetings. And you got to meet with a producer that you've already done the record. Why are they making me meet with another producer? Why am I dealing with... Because that's the fucking dance, man. That's what you got to do.
You lose control of your schedule, essentially.
You really do. And it's and you will burn out.
Yeah.
And it may be worth it.
Yeah.
It may be worth it. But if you think you're going to get a record deal because you're like, God, if we just had a whole bunch of money and help, we could really make something of this. It's not going to... All that means is that you're supercharging all the things you're going to already do. I will tell you this. I have heard this from record label executives. If I give you a fucking record deal, you've got nothing else to do but work for it.
Yeah.
Right? There is no day job. You don't need to deal with your girlfriend. Break up. You don't need to hang out with your baby, with your kids. Get babysitters. I gave you an advance. You've got nothing better to do for 18 hours a day than to make this single go. And I'm going to put all my money into it, and all my people here in LA and some people in New York, we're going to put all of our time into it. You better put your 18 hours into it. And so I'm telling you that that's what labels think, and they're right. That is what it takes to make it go. Because record labels aren't in the business of making a go at a small success. Yeah. They're not into building your fan base from 10,000 to 20,000. They're not into making your streams go up by 1 million. They're not into that. That doesn't make any money for them. You're talking 10 times multiples they want to do. It's not worth it to them if they can't get you over the hump. So that's that. Here's the third part of this answer.
Third part.
Don't sign a personal deal with a record label.
Go on.
Only do licensing deals. You love my music. You love me. Well, I'll give you a cut of the album. You put in, we'll agree to how much money you're going to put into marketing, and I'll give you a little piece of it. We'll co-own it,
Yeah.
And but I get to deliver it when I want. I get to produce it how I want. I work with who the fuck I want, and we'll do a little licensing deal, and I'll give you some money for it. So do a 50-50 deal. Do a licensing deal.
How often is that viable?
It is the most. Okay, I would say that it is probably the most common record deal these days. Is a licensing deal.
Really, I did not know that.
They take your back catalog, and they license that, and then they take your future shit. A lot of times they want to use one of their own label acts to do a feature, so that they can kind of double dip on that money.
Yeah,
like they'll put a feature on one of your new songs. But it is the most common one because it is the least amount of upfront money. You're talking maybe $1 to $5 million in that case. It's like not much money at all to make back.
Yeah.
And it's usually a term deal. So we'll take your whole catalog for 3 to 5 years, and you have to release an EP every year or whatever, the equivalent of 6 songs or something like that for us.
Yeah.
They get a higher percentage on the songs they co-own on the new shit. But the idea is that by them putting money into your new shit, your back catalog will make some money, and they get a little piece of that too for a short while.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier for a label to deal with that because then they don't have to have. Look, if you're getting signed into a full like 360 deal, you got to have somebody on you. There's got to be somebody to call.
Yeah.
In a licensing deal, they just sort of give you, there's emails and shit that go back and forth.
Yeah.
Like, that guy deals with like 7 or 10 different artists instead of, 1
just
or 3.
You. Yeah.
So that is but it is the deal that is most often out there now, especially because so many people are getting picked up off of like, they get like a TikTok hit or they get like an Instagram reel hit.
Yeah.
And then their streams pick up. And every label in the world is looking at stream counts. And when they see the global chart on Luminate or whatever, they're like, ooh. By the way, if you reach these certain amounts, 15 million streams, it could probably start at about 10 million streams on a single. You start getting those numbers, like you're going to get calls and emails.
Yeah.
Because that's some real money and real fans possibly. Like you can't even fake 10 million streams.
Yeah.
You can fake 2 million.
Yeah.
But so like once you get to 10, you've got a lot of monthly listeners. If they strike while the iron's hot, you could look at that and go, okay, well, if we push them to 20, all right, then we're going to probably make like a few 100,000. We could put maybe 1 million into this. We add a tour to that. We take 15%. You can see how the money makes sense there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so that's my answer. If you're way young, yeah, go ahead, take a shot at a few albums. You'll meet a bunch of people. You might get a little heat. You'll have a little something behind you, and then you'll have a great story afterwards to be like, fucking Columbia screwed me over.
That sounded personal.
John Mayer.
Anyway,
but no, like those deals are gone. Those $20 million upfront deals.
Yeah, it's not this.
I will tell you though, there's a list that some of us look at that is, I can't really tell you what it is. That'd be speaking out of school. But there's a list where you can see the general amount of people who are signed every week to publishing, management, and label deals. And I was looking at it last week or something. There's like 10 signings last week to label deals. There's a lot more publishing action, a lot more management action. And like I would say, if you're getting close to a label deal, if you can get into management somehow, if you've got that heat behind you, let them navigate the better deal.
Yeah.
Because they can navigate you a publishing deal, maybe a brand deal, possibly a tour. CAA is involved in tours.
Yeah.
You get involved in like some agency management stuff. That's even better than getting a label deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I would say. That's my answer.
Fantastic.
Miss O'Keefe.
Yeah. Keefe, well, I can't tell because I couldn't tell if that was the right spelling on our rundown.
Well, I can't give you her email, but
I know. I don't give her the email. I was just curious if they had socials and they were to want people to follow them. I wanted to
shout them out. Miss O'Keefe. O'Keefe.
Yeah. So
whatever, from Florida. If you're down in Florida, thanks, Miss O'Keefe.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's get to the sink of the week.
Sink
of the week. Would you like to go first, being that I talk so much?
I like when you talk so much. I always feel like I'm the Luddite in the room who gets to learn something.
Fucking NFTs, marketing, label deal, blah, blah, blah.
Speaking of robots, I watched the movie The Creator this week.
Ooh, I want to see that.
It's if you I believe it was Gareth Edwards, dude who did Rogue One and a couple of other delightful sci-fi adventures. What was I say? It looks like a Neil Blomkamp movie, but it feels like a Gareth Edwards movie. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, cool. It's really beautiful. It's a gorgeous view. The movie's good. But there was a moment where there's a military raid thing happening, and I was watching it, and I had my speakers on because I enjoy a good sci-fi yarn with the right audio going on. Yeah. And all of a sudden, there was this real hard cut to Tom York's voice. Ooh. And it was jarring because the audio was so the sync was so loud. It took the place of all the other audio that was going on in the it was just right to it. It was very jarring, but it was Everything in Its Right Place by Radiohead, and it was the way that the audio was used to really kind of jar you in this scene was I'm used to like those kind of things happening underneath and behind things. It literally took the place of it was like, oh my God, that's right there. It was like right in my face. So it was really cool how they used it. And I fucking forgot how much I love that era of Radiohead with Kid A and Amnesiac and all that kind of stuff. And that is Gabe Hilfer, the supervisor on that one. I've mentioned him. I've mentioned him a couple times on some other things.
Yes, we like Gabe Hilfer.
Yeah. So he's doing the Lord's work in the he did he was the music soup for Renfield as well when the Lizzo placement a few months ago. Yeah. So I keep track of that shit. Can you believe that?
Well, we're giving everyone out there listening all the answers.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all think we're just doing this, like, oh, this is kind of fun or whatever. When you're like, how do I get into sync? I've given you 100 fucking names this year.
Yeah.
And I'll give you another one. Here you go. Here's mine. So I'm going to go off the board a little bit.
All right.
Dun, 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 because I was watching a sporting event.
No.
I was watching sports ball.
No, you were not. Stop it.
Michigan.
Oh, you were watching that game.
Kids, Michigan won the national championship. It just goes to show you that there is nothing wrong with cheating in America. Okay. No. They should have won. But anyway, so I was watching that, and so I had to watch regular commercials, spots, if you will. And so I was watching, and there I am watching a TUMS ad.
Fantastic.
Which I used to love the TUMS jingle. Tum, da-dum, TUMS. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
But they are using I Can't Fight This Feeling Anymore by REO Speedwagon.
Fantastic
So it's
choice.
like a guy laying in bed who's eating a bunch of pizza and, and then I can't fight this feeling anymore. And so it's an on the nose that we talk about these placements a lot of times about how you use sort of the opposite music cue for the opposite emotion. Sometimes when it's cheeky, and this is, it works really well. He can't fight this feeling anymore, meaning heartburn. Yeah. And so he takes TUMS. And by the way, I Can't Fight This Feeling Anymore is by REO Speedwagon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A very relatively unknown band.
A little small band.
I just find it funny that there's all these college kids watching this.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's funny. You saw there's a whole Reddit thread about what's that jingle for TUMS?
No, my.
Yeah. So
fucking great.
You will all learn how some people in the 80s sang lines like, it's time to bring this ship into the shore and throw away the oars forever. Woo, hard on the R's.
That's a lot of closed vowels right there.
Kevin was very hard on the R's and closed vowels.
Yep.
Anyway, it's kind of a cool song, though. It's got a great solo on it, Gary Richard.
Yeah.
What's up? Anyway, so it's TUMS, which is GSK, GlaxoSmithKline, I believe, is the company that owns that.
Yeah.
Which they also do horrible pharma.
Mm-hmm.
But the ad agency behind it is Gray New York. We love Gray. I did some work with Gray a few years ago.
Yeah.
The CD behind it is Fabio Osorio. Osorio. Can you imagine being a creative director in New York of Gray advertising named Fabio Osorio?
You know, his name gets laid more than he does. It's,
absolutely.
Just
there are
like
people swiping right on that on Bumblebee or whatever it is. I don't know. But yeah, and also Amy Sharon is the brand director of TUMS.
Yeah.
But so that is my sync of the week. I Can't Fight This Feeling Anymore by REO Speedwagon. Go find that on your YouTube.
Well done. Well played. Well done. Very
Yes,
nice. I like that there
much.
was a TUMS commercial in the middle of a college football game. You know, as you said, a bunch of, like Gen Zers, watching this and going, what are TUMS?
What are TUMS, you guys?
What the hell is TUMS like? And Dad's over in the chair going, oh, I can't live without them.
I guess if you eat meat, maybe.
Yeah, if you're into that kind of thing. I smoke weed.
I just drink a lot of water and have avocado.
I'm photosynthetic. I exist on sunlight.
All right, let's wrap this sucker up. Thank you so much for joining us this week. We are gonna take a week off, and then we're gonna be back next week. I'm just kidding. So, by taking a week off, it's just gonna be next week.
It's gonna be next week.
Yeah, make sure to check out StuMillerMusic.com. He's got maybe one slot left.
I got one slot left. I got one slot left in the music mentorship, and I have 2 studio spots open for the next 2 months. And then after that, it goes.
You better get on it. StuMillerMusic.com. Remember to rate and subscribe and give us 5 stars over there, and leave a hilarious comment on Apple Podcasts. We are inclined to think you're a hater, like Bill Maher says. You can follow us at 2ShotsMusicPod. Anywhere you follow people, you can email us. Thank you again, Miss O'Keefe from Florida. 2ShotsMusicPod@gmail.com. That is the number 2ShotsMusicPod@gmail.com. And y'all look great. I hope you write a great song.
Yeah. Congratulations on making it to 2024.
Yes, it's going to be a great year. It's going to be a great year.
It's going to be awesome. Love you. Write a great song.
We love you guys so much. You have a great week, and we'll talk to you next week. Goodbye.